Hi!
Hello!
It's Kate and Ava,
Also known as Squid.
you know who I am, and we are here with Three Hills' lovely Sandra and Sansa dolls.
I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, that part's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So they are here to accompany us as we tell you all about our awesome Sansa fan video. I'm
Yes.
looking at this, but I should be looking at that.
Yes. I keep looking at you also. Hey, what's up?
So anyways, our number one goal here is to beg you for money.
Yes, we are here to
So-
ask for money. We want to film a video. Basically what it is it's the scene between Sandra and Sansa during the Battle of the Blackwater. You know, that pivotal scene that they kind of didn't do right on the TV show. We want to do it, but we want to do it in Shakespearean verse, as George R.R. Martin intended.
And that's our headcanon anyway.
Yeah,
We're sticking to it.
I mean, that scene just has a lot of, like, it really has a lot of the epicness of a Shakespearean, tragedy, so
Yeah.
we really want to show that.
And it really is, like, the defining moment in their relationship. And
And it's going to be awesome.
my personal opinion, it wasn't that bad on the show.
No, and
George wrote it himself, so it gets a pass, but it's just so different.
it's
And
very different in the books. And I mean, we're going to talk about it, because that's the other thing that this video is about. We're going to be going over the 5 worst Hound characterization moments on the television show, because there are a lot of them. We actually had to cut that list down significantly. And then 5 that they almost got right, which was a much shorter list, and that's why we had to cut down the other one.
yeah.
So that's happening next. And if you want to skip this part where we're begging for money, you can.
But
you don't have to.
before we kick it off,
Yes.
we actually have a special message from one of our actors.
We do. We have a very well-known cosplayer who actually can act, surprisingly, who's going to be playing our Sandor. So let us hear from him. And take it away, David.
Hi everyone in Kickstarter land. This is David Baxter, otherwise known as Sandor Clegane, the Hound in the cosplay world. And I'm really happy to be given the opportunity to actually do a little short film about Sandor and Sansa Stark called Birdsong that Kate and Ava are going to be making. And I will be playing opposite Serena, the lovely Serena, as Sansa Stark. Please invest. Please, contribute to this. I think it's going to be a fantastic little film, and it'll show a scene that wasn't actually in the television series. Really, it's really from the book, and even cooler, it will be done in Shakespearean verse. So there you have it. Okay, see you guys in the movies. Bye.
Now, wasn't that everything you hoped it would be and more?
He's amazing.
He's so dreamy. And also, he's a genuinely good Sandor. He just has the commanding presence, and you can't tell, but he's like 7 feet tall. Maybe not 7. He's like 6.5. He's tall, is what I'm saying. And you really get that feeling.
Yeah, and he actually does amazing
Sandor
cosplay.
feeling.
He actually does a really amazing Dumbledore cosplay
Yes.
too.
Very good.
So
Dumbledore.
if you're at Comic-Con in San Diego this July, look for him. You will find him.
And ask him about the project, he will gladly tell you about it.
Right?
I'm going to ask him if he'll pass out flyers. I haven't done that yet, so he's hearing it now for the first time.
Surprise. Okay. So anyway, back to our list.
Yes, the 5th most out of character
The fifth
moment.
most out
Before
of
we get to
character
we have to
moment.
work our way from the down.
Which is, I'm looking at my list. Oh, the fucking chickens.
I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
Oh God, why? Why?
Okay, see,
God,
here's the
why?
problem. It's not so much the chicken itself, which, by the way,
It's
Sandor, yeah, it is funny.
And Sandor probably likes chicken.
He probably does, but the thing is in the books, he not only does he never say the word chicken, he never even eats a chicken.
Never
There
even once.
is a very gratuitous rabbit eating scene.
Rabbit
however.
eating. I mean, I think that's pretty much proof right there that Sandor prefers rabbit to chicken, or
Yeah.
else he would have found a chicken and caught it and killed it and eaten it.
And we never see that.
Never
But
happens.
the overall problem that I have with that isn't so much the chicken itself, it's just that they've kind of turned him into a meme
Yeah,
to
they
sell
sorta-
t-shirts, and it's like, okay,
It's the kind of thing where they're trying to make him sort of like
catchphrase machine.
yeah, and also comical in a way that he's not in the books. In the books, he's funny, but it's a different kind of humor.
A very not good humor.
No,
But we'll
first
get
of all,
to
he's
that
bad.
later.
But say, I mean, it's completely different. This was made clearly to be funny to a television audience, and that is not what Sandor is about.
Oh, the method of death.
Yes. Okay. This is so important, guys. I cannot stress it enough. Look at this man. Look at how buff he is. Do you see this? He's this.
Welcome to the gun show, right?
Yeah,
here.
right here. He's either, and this is debatable because he rarely gets to fight his brother, but he's either the most fearsome warrior in all the kingdoms, or he's the second most fearsome warrior in all the kingdoms. Brienne is good. I'm not saying she's not good, but there is no way Brienne would ever beat the Hound. Not once, not ever. And I think George R. R. Martin would agree.
Well, consider this. The Hound beat Beric Dondarrion while he was A, hungover, and B, with a flaming frickin' sword coming out his face.
As you may recall, he's terrified of fire.
And he still killed Beric. Okay,
Killed
granted,
him.
Beric
Came
already
back to
died
life.
5 times.
That's not
But
that's really
he
not the point.
cheated. Let's face it, he cheated. The Hound
Okay.
was hungover, and he had a freaking flaming sword.
It was not
And-
expected.
And the Hound still beat him. So, guess what?
Not only did he beat him, but he beat him kind of against the judgment of the gods, really, if you think about it, he was guilty,
Yeah.
and still the gods could not prevent him from beating Beric.
The gods
so.
still have a plan for Sandor.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But then we get to the inn in the book
In the book.
where Sandor basically gets drunk because they tell him that Sansa has married Tyrion
Yes.
and fled King's Landing. So he basically throws them back one after
Oh,
the
yeah.
other. Yeah, so he's drunk. Then his brother's men basically start shit with him. He was just in there
He's just
loving
chilling.
life. Well, not loving life after he heard about Sansa.
He's being
But,
sad.
Yeah, but he's
Pathetic
being
drunk.
sad, and they start shit with him, and he's just like, alright, it's on, and he fights every single one of those MFers. They do wound him mortally, but he
But he
still
still kills
wins.
them all.
He still wins.
They are all gone.
All of them. It was 1 against 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Arya
And
kind
they-
of helped a little.
They all die significantly before he does. Okay, so in the books, they don't really talk about his grooming often. That is true. But just think about it. Cersei, Joffrey. Do you think that he would be allowed to stand at the right hand of the king, all slovenly and covered in grease and disgusting? I don't think so. Do you think snot rockets would be allowed in the royal palace of the Red Keep? I don't think so.
Not that he wouldn't blow snot rockets, just probably not in public.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, the Lannisters...
I mean,
The
who
Lannisters...
doesn't blow snot rockets on their own, really?
Anyway, but I mean, he's an employee of the frickin' Lannisters, who are Image is everything to them. Maybe not
It
as
is.
much as the Trells, but I mean, they're all about looking good, looking fly.
And Cersei especially is all about, the presenting the front of the royal family, and
she is not gonna let some dumpy weirdo, homeless-looking person hang
and
around her son.
And he was her sworn shield, wasn't he?
Yep.
So, I mean, she would not be, looking at that daily, trust me.
Yeah,
She would not be about that.
not that she would look at him anyway,
But
but
I'm
you
just
know,
saying.
yeah.
Saying. She would not want
There's
that around.
a certain image the court needs to present, and Sansa knows that all too well. Yeah, and just his personality in general, on the show, it's fuck this, fuck that, fuck the king, cunt, whatever. But in the books, he really says bugger more.
In the book, he actually cries more often than he says the F word. Literally, he spends more time crying than cursing. I'm
It's
I'm
true.
not making this up. Go
It's
count
true.
it. It's either the same number of times or he cries once more than he curses. So.
Yeah. He's actually, he is very profane. He's always talking about, shove it up your
Oh, yeah.
arse, blah, 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 blah.
He's
He
not
talks about
not
shit a lot. He's got, fecalphilia or something. It's weird. But
Don't tell Sansa that. She doesn't know what to expect in her
She doesn't-
future.
don't kink shame Sandor, okay?
I'm just saying. Just saying. Incidentally, all you fanfiction authors, that is a true fact that Sandor rarely says fuck. Just
and he never says I in the book.
No,
either.
not-
He
not
says
once.
yes.
he says yes.
He says the actual word yes. He's not Scottish.
No, not for real.
And he's also he gets poetic at times.
Yes, he has a very eloquent. I mean, when he talks about
the dogs of his house sigil, the 3 that died in
The autumn of the
in
yellow
of the autumn grass. Yeah, I mean
I
that's
can't even
beautiful.
remember it. That's how eloquent
Yeah,
he is.
I mean he should be in Shakespeare because he's predisposed to it.
And we're gonna
Because
give
he's
it
not
to-
stupid.
No,
okay.
he's definitely not stupid.
Sandor Clegane is not stupid.
Look at this. Does this look like the face of a stupid man?
Look at he knows what he's doing. There's a brain behind the burns.
Probably.
I think so.
Okay, so the next most out of character moment technically is not a moment that he did on the show, because it's the moment where Littlefinger tells Sansa about, the story of Sandor Clegane's burns. No. Are you kidding me?
Stop.
What the hell? There is no way. First of all, nobody knows that story. Literally nobody knows it, except Sandor and his brother. And once he tells Sansa, he threatens her. He says that he will kill her if she ever tells anyone. That is how serious he is about no one else knowing it. Littlefinger would never have heard that story. Not once. Not ever. People just know that they hate each other. That's it. There is that. Why did they do
Egregious.
this? Why did they do this on the show? There was no reason for it.
In hindsight,
I mean, at the time, there was... If they were not being horrible...
There was no payoff for Sansa knowing it, because she never brings it up again. It never comes up. But guess who does bring it up later? Arya. So really, the whole point of Littlefinger telling Sansa was so Arya could overhear it and bring it up later to throw in Sandor's face in season 3.
I heard what your brother did to you. Press your face to the fire like you're a nice, juicy mutton chop.
Instead of being a scene between these two lovely characters, who, I mean, no matter how you look at their relationship...
Here, kneel down.
But no, wait, we have to... Okay. There, that's fine.
He was no true knight.
It's true. It's very important. And instead of it being a scene between these two lovely characters, which, even if you're not on the Sam romance train, as we are, I think everyone can recognize that within the books they have an important relationship. They're important to each other. She sees him, especially with more distance, she sees him as sort of a protector for her. And he has something going on.
Something's
going on in his head. He has like genuine tenderness for her, and he tried to protect her. And no matter how you see the romantic aspect between them, if you see it, you don't see it, that's fine. But they're important to each other. And that's nowhere in the show, like, at all. Like, what the heck? How did that even happen? But that scene, I think, like, we could have done a bunch of different scenes, but that's the scene that I think sort of epitomizes.
Yeah. That basically, that is the catalyst for the relationship afterwards. But the number one egregious...
So egregious.
Oh my god. Sandor frickin' in the show, robbing a farmer.
Are you kidding me?
Beating him, and then playing it off, oh, I just know. That's just the way things are. No. Sandor would never do that.
No.
In fact, in the books, him and Arya stay at a village in the Vale to help them fortify it from the mountain clans, and they stay there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Sandor's even like, yeah, maybe we should stay here for a while, because we have a roof over our heads, we have food, we're making a little dosh, whatever. And Arya's not too happy with that, but, they don't have any other options. But it's definitely a better option than continuing to live in the woods and starve and possibly have people, like, chasing you. So why Sandor thought it was... Because the guy offered him a job. He's like, stay here and work the farm with me. And
no, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to, like, fuck you up.
Yeah, and his explanation was...
I just understand the way things are.
No, that's not a...
Because the thing that you have to understand about Sandor, and he's a killer, like, he doesn't deny that, but he is not his brother. And he takes a lot of personal pride, I think, in not being his brother.
Yeah.
And that is something that Gregor would have done.
Definitely.
What Sandor did on the show is something that book Sandor would never do, because if his brother did it, he would be against it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Is sort of my analysis there.
Yeah. If you read the book, Sandor never kills anybody unless A, it's on orders, B, it's in self-defense, or 3, C, it's to protect somebody else.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't go and, like, kill people for funsies. And if you bring up Micah, A, on orders. That's it.
He did not have fun with that.
End of story.
Okay, and I mean, I think it's important for us to, like, point out, we're not saying that Sandor is, like, a good person or that he doesn't go around killing people, because that is literally his job.
But it's his job.
But that's what he gets paid for.
Well, okay, so there are some moments, though, on the show that they either got pretty right or pretty close.
Pretty close.
The first instance is actually Sandor's first episode back from his supposed death in season 4.
Okay, pause. I haven't seen this because I don't care. Whatever. I'm just going to chill here with his hair.
Okay. So they'll have a little conversation. So, yeah. So if you watch the show, The Broken Man, they're at a little hippie commune. Ian McShane gang is hanging out. and Sandor's like, doing his thing, chopping wood, minding his own business, and there's all these conversations about, the gods have a plan for you, there's a reason they're still alive, and he asks Ian McShane, if the gods are real, why haven't they punished me? And Ian McShane says they have. But the point is it looks like the Hound is reconsidering things, that, maybe he has changed, maybe he realizes that, violence isn't the answer, which, should be how it is in the books, because in the books, as you know, he's the gravedigger, he's getting his shit together, and there's like an entire freaking eulogy by Elder Brother talking about how violence is not the answer, how violence and revenge and hate pretty much destroyed Sandor, and how that's no way to live, and, and we're supposed to take away from that, yeah, you're right, he's clearly moving away from violence and hate and revenge. So, that seemed like that's what was happening at the beginning of that episode until the end when he picked up a freaking axe again, but whatever. But what gives me hope is when they interviewed Rory McCann about that scene, and the part where Ian McShane asks him, what kept you alive, what kept you going when we thought you were going to die, and he thinks about it and he says,
Hate.
But Rory McCann says, I don't believe that. I don't think he's full of hate anymore. I think he's coming from a place of peace. And that gives me hope that at least Rory knows what's going on.
Because the Hound is dead, guys.
The Hound is dead. Sandor Clegane is at rest. Remember that.
That's so important, guys.
Yeah, it's so important. It's not even important for his character arc. It's important for the themes of the actual books. Like, that's such a huge theme. The Broken Man speech is applicable in that moment to Sandor a lot, but it's applicable. It basically encapsulates all the themes that George R.R. Martin is trying to get across in the book. Like, it's so important, and they cut that out too. And so the next close part was after the riot sequence when Sansa runs into the Hound in the hallway, which just was like so random. It looks like when you're in high school and you like have to walk past like the guy you broke up with, and it's like super awkward when you're walking by them in the hallway. But anyway, so she stops and they have like this little like bitchy conversation, which I guess is supposed to be a take on the Maegor's rooftop. So at the end, she asks him in the book, why are you always so hateful? And his line in the show, which is not in the book, is actually really amazing.
You'll be glad of the hateful things I do someday when you're queen, and I'm all that stands between you and your beloved king.
And like, he's basically telling her, I will fucking like defy the king, my boss, to protect you. Like, that is probably not the smartest thing to say, but it encapsulates everything, that he feels about her.
It's actually very true to, even though it's not in the novels, it's very true to what his motivations are in the novels. Yeah. And it's very true to his character in the novels.
Right.
So even though it's like they almost got it right, but there's no point in him saying that nonsense, because for the rest of the entire freaking show, he doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
He doesn't really get a chance to do that.
No. So it's like, why, like, that's a scene where they're sort of underscoring the relationship they're supposed to have, but there's no intention of them having that relationship in the show, so why was that
because
there?
they never establish why he would go to those lengths for her. And I feel bad for Rory for people asking him constantly, oh, why is the Hound doing all this for her? And he's like, because they were both bullied as kids. He knows why, because he's read the books, but he can't say that because it's not in the show. Nope. So it puts him in a really weird position, and I feel bad for him. But anyway, but going along with that, our number 2 is the riot sequence.
Yes.
Which, in the book, is good. I kind of actually, in a weird way, prefer the show version.
Well, in the show, it's very visual, and it's very, immediate.
Yeah, and the tension that they build with it is great.
Yes.
I remember when I watched it for the first time as an Unsullied, as soon as I saw his hand come down on that guy's shoulder, I was like, yes, it's the Hound, he's rescuing her. And throws her over his shoulder. He's got a thing for throwing Stark girls over his shoulder. What can you do?
Don't kink shame the Hound.
So yeah, I thought they did really well with that. The book was fine. You don't really see it because it's told from Tyrion's point of view. Sansa reflects on it later about how, she was riding her horse, and somebody tried to pull her down, and then, like, all of a sudden a knife came down, and the guy's arm was gone, and it was the Hound, and he, like, pushed her back on her horse and got up on the horse, and she was holding on to him tightly, and it was just, oh, here, we can reenact. Here we go.
Hold on.
No, he's got to be in front. So it was basically like, oh, my hero. And whatever. So our number one is actually why we are here.
Why we're here today.
Today, the Blackwater scene.
Yes.
You won't hurt me.
No, little bird, I won't hurt you.
I don't hate it. I
No.
think it's fine.
It's pretty good.
Like I said earlier, George wrote it. There wasn't a whole lot they could have done with that, just because there's a lot of stuff in the scene in the book that they didn't establish on the show. So
They're
there was
like, where are
only-
you going to go with it, really?
Yeah, there was really no other way that he could go with it, but I appreciated that he made it very tender and benign, and kind of made it clear for people who might not have been clear that that scene is not supposed to be as intense and negative as, it was horrible. Sandor did a very bad thing.
Yeah.
But
And we don't say that he didn't. Like, he does a lot of bad things. It's kind of like 90% of his character.
yeah, but there's a lot of context and factors that went into it, and the important thing is Sansa forgives him.
She does.
She understands why he was such a naughty boy. And another thing to keep in mind is that nobody hates Sandor for what he did more than Sandor.
This guy right here.
He cried over it. Okay, he cried in the moment.
One of the
cried about it later.
One of the many, many times he cries instead of saying "fuck." By the way.
Yeah. So he was. So that's why we wanted to do the scene, because we know it's a very important scene to their relationship.
I just feel like even though it's good in the show, it's good within the context of the show. There's so much you can't do with it because they don't have a relationship in the show, really.
Right.
You can't... If they had actually done the scene the way it was written, that would have been really confusing for everyone. Because why? Like, why is suddenly this, like, intense moment happening between these two people who, like, I think they've spoken, like, 3 times?
So, yeah.
So that's why we want to do, like, this version of it. Also, because it's in Shakespearean verse, man. It's awesome. Like...
It's really awesome.
You can't tell me you guys don't want to see that. And if you want to see it, like, I know that you do, please give us a little money, because filming these things is really expensive.
Yeah, but you'll read all about that later.
Oh, yeah.
But, wait, I feel a presence.
I sense something. It seems kind of
I
sweet.
smell
and-
lemons.
I hear, like, some...
Oh, hey! Well, look who's here!
I did
Come
a
on
really
up.
good job of hiding her, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So
she's
this is Serena.
Hello.
She is our Sansa.
Yes.
And so we wanted to get her
I
on
mean,
here.
would you just look at this face? I mean, compare her to the doll.
I mean, that's
like-
all you need. That's our
Right there.
movie right there.
That's the whole thing we're gonna film.
Yes, Serena's amazing. I've worked with her before on projects, and
She's a great up-and-coming young actress with
and singer.
and singer.
She's
a lot
an
of lot of
amazing
musical ventures
musician.
going on.
Yeah.
And she really, I think, from the readings that we've done, she really like gets this character. She kind of had like the core sweetness of the character is something that she too embodies.
She's a real life Sansa. That's why this works so well.
I mean,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
well,
That's a-
it's a good thing because you're not engaged to a psychopathic prince who murders your father. So
well,
under
yeah,
those
already.
circumstances, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And incidentally, guys, like, can I say this? That like, okay, if things go well, there are actually a couple more scenes that we would like to do.
Yes.
So we're trying this one, but I mean, we have the perfect Sansa, we have the perfect Sandor, and we have like 15 scenes they cut out that we want to see. So
Well, the hope is if this goes well, then we can give you guys the story of Sandor's burn
Dude.
scene.
I want
Which
to do
would be
that scene so badly,
amazing.
guys.
Yeah.
Please.
Giving her
Kate
a
is the one
challenge.
who adapted. You guys may have seen it actually. The thing that we're doing, it was originally posted on Reddit, And when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I want to do that as
By
a...
Nina Friel, I
Yeah.
hope I'm saying her name right.
I was like, I want to do that as a play, but I'm completely useless and ineffectual. But then I met Kate, and Kate is a director, like a real one. So she's real. And so she's
I exist.
and she gets things done, guys. Like, I was like, hey, we should do this, and she was like, yes, and then it's happening. So it's amazing. Give her some money, guys. Like,
give us money so we can give Serena some money.
Oh yeah, we would like to pay her.
we would like to pay our actors and our
that would be
crew
preferable.
and anybody else. And yeah, we're just super excited about doing this for you guys
Yes,
too.
it's not just because I want it. I think you guys want it too, right? Like, we're not the only
This is
ones
for
here.
you guys. I mean, the Sansa and Hound community is so amazing.
Yes.
And we deserve this.
I think so.
Don't you think?
Now, Lady Cypress is here with us, and she does not want to get on screen.
Hey.
But for her disembodied voice, she really wants it, right? Like, you really want to see this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here first.
and if Lady Cypress wants it, everyone wants it. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've got the Lady Cypress bump.
Dude.
So, it's happening.
So I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed our list. And even if you don't want to give us money, I hope you'll share the list, because I think the list itself is important, not just our project. And, I mean, like, the people need to know. And yeah, so check out our campaign. Please share it around. Let people know that you're excited about this, because we're excited about it, and she's excited about it, and they're excited about it. So yeah, let's make this happen, guys. Thank you. Oh, and I'm updating cost-benefit analysis like real soon. I promise. Screech! Bye.
I think we're done.